From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
Good evening, I'm Nicole Griffin. We begin tonight with a major development since our 6 p.m. newscast. President Trump has just signed the nearly $900 billion COVID relief bill, meaning a government shutdown has been avoided. Here's ABC's Rachel Scott with the details.
With the country on the verge of a government shutdown, President Trump finally signing the nearly $900 billion package Congress approved last week. It took Congress more than 6 months to negotiate this bipartisan stimulus bill to get aid to the American people. The president's own team, including Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, helped negotiate the bill. But when the president demanded last-minute changes, tweeting, "I simply want to get our great people $2,000 rather than the measly $600 that is now in the bill," some Republicans criticized him for not raising his objections sooner.
If the president wants to come up with more money to help more people, terrific. Let's sign this bill now so we can start getting our unemployment benefits out right away and then quickly pass another bill.
Senator Bernie Sanders said he also has reservations about the size of the checks, but that this bill needs to be signed.
Given the terrible economic crisis facing this country, yes, we do need to get $2,000 out to every working class individual in this country, $500 for their kid. But you can't diddle around with the bill.
Unemployment benefits had expired for millions of Americans, and in just a few days, the federal moratorium on evictions was set to end also. Many people agree $600 just isn't enough.
$600 is very insignificant for the individuals trying to feed their families.
Daniel Maris is just one of many struggling business owners who had pleaded with the president to sign the bill.
The American people are literally dying. They are starving. You're holding us hostage to this bill. Please sign the bill. We know it's not enough. We know it's not going to make up for everything, but it gets us by.
Rachel Scott, ABC News, Washington.
Rachel, thank you. Now to the latest COVID-19 numbers from the State Department of Health. Another 1,844 Hoosiers have been diagnosed with the virus. 35 more Hoosiers have died, bringing the total number of deaths to 7,496. Since March, more than 493,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for COVID-19, and more than 5.5 million tests have been administered in Indiana. A retired nurse says she is rushing back to the front lines to help because she recognizes the current need. WRTV's Troy Washington talked with the Martinsville woman who is encouraging other healthcare workers to follow her lead.
This is just crazy. Who would ever dream anything like this would ever happen nowadays?
Kathy Thorpe never imagined she'd be coming out of retirement and returning to the front lines to help during a pandemic.
Like, my license is retired. My license is considered retired, and when they talked about how they were going to bring retired nurses back to help out, I knew I couldn't work critical care. Everything's changed so much, but I can give these vaccines, and that's kind of what I signed up for. I thought I can give these virus shots, that we have out there. So that's what I thought I would do.
When she got the email, it was a no-brainer.
I've always tried to help out, do wherever I could, where I can. I've been a nurse for like 40 years, and I've always helped out doing different things.
She says nursing isn't a job or a career, but instead a calling, one she's always willing to answer, especially when it matters most.
So it has to be in your blood to do it, or you wouldn't be in that field. It's not a job, it's just what you do. It's who you are. It should be who you are, I'll say that.
She says when you see your counterparts in distress, it's time to step up and put all hands on deck.
Yeah. All the stuff that they're doing, and they're up over their head with responsibility, and yet they go in every day. They work their 12 hours or 16 hours, and they had no family Christmas or anything, most of them, or it was a real quick one.
Working for you, Troy Washington, WRTV.
Troy, thank you. And right now, Kathy is volunteering at a local hospital, helping with the initial screening process when patients come through the door. Now to your forecast tonight, meteorologist Kyle Mounts joins me now. And Kyle, it feels pretty good outside. It is a little rainy, a little windy, but those temperatures feel pretty nice.
Yeah, we're still sitting close to 50 degrees tonight, Nicole, and that's a far cry from where we were this time last night. It's courtesy of that southwest breeze, though, that's at 20 miles per hour. And yeah, we've had a few showers out there, but pretty soon those winds are going to turn out of the northwest behind the showers and bring in the colder air. Already in Champaign, Illinois, down to 33 degrees. You're at 45 still, though, in Lafayette, and still holding on to 50 in Terre Haute and Bloomington at this hour. But here's a look at those showers, mainly over the eastern half of central Indiana at this point. Even some moderate showers moving through the Muncie, Portland areas. Not going to add up to very much, and you can see a few of those showers still in portions of Hancock County, down through Shelbyville, and also around Greensburg, stretching back some very light rain now into the Nashville area. But TrueCast shows that those showers will be moving out of here pretty quickly. We will still have the clouds as we go into tomorrow morning, though, and temperatures that will start off the day around 30 degrees and never really going to recover from that with that cloudy start. We do have a lot more temperature ups and downs and another chance for some rain, maybe even a little bit of snow as we go into the new year. More on that in just a bit. Nicole?
The nativity characters had been demolished. Somebody had taken and just crashed them on the sidewalk and destroyed them. It's very sad.
Tonight, an investigation is underway after someone vandalized a nativity scene outside of a downtown church on Christmas. The pastor of St. John Catholic Church says the damage to the characters was discovered the morning after Christmas. Every year, the display is put up outside of the church, which is located on Georgia Street and Capitol Avenue, downtown near the convention center. The pastor says he has witnessed people over the years stopping with their children at the display, explaining why people celebrate Christmas. He calls it a bright spot in the heart of the city. And tonight he has this message for the person who did this.
To whoever did this, that they're always welcome here at our church, and we forgive them for any wrongdoing, but that, you know, they should take responsibility and injustice of the damage that was done. Our congregation, our faithful people are saddened by it or discouraged, but at the same time they're hopeful that anytime we have a chance to pray for somebody that's lost in this world, away from God and away from His church, that we have a chance to pray them back to Him.
The church's security company is reviewing surveillance video to try to figure out who destroyed the characters. The pastor says IMPD is also involved. If you know anything about what happened here, contact Crime Stoppers. That number's 317-262-TIPS. Thousands of Hoosiers are back home tonight or on their way home after traveling for the holidays. Tomorrow we will find out just how many people traveled today, but yesterday, the day after Christmas, TSA officials screened over 1.1 million passengers. That number is down, though, compared to the 2.4 million people screened on the same day last year. On Wednesday, air travel hit the highest number during the pandemic at nearly 1.2 million, despite pleas from federal and local leaders asking people to stay home. The CDC recommends getting tested 3 to 5 days after your trip and reduce non-essential activities for 7 days after air travel, even if you test negative. The Christmas morning explosion that rocked a downtown district and rattled an entire community. Tonight, investigators have answered one key question in this baffling case. The very latest coming up next.
Huntington, welcome.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
New tonight, officials have confirmed the suspect in the bombing that rocked downtown Nashville died in the blast. 6 officers from the Nashville Police Department are being hailed as heroes. And earlier today, they described the events that unfolded on Christmas morning. Here's ABC's Andrew Dimbert with the details.
Investigators now say the Christmas Day explosion that rocked downtown Nashville was a suicide bombing.
Anthony Warner is the bomber, that he was present when the bomb went off and that he perished in the bombing. We base this conclusion on forensic evidence, including DNA evidence.
In this video obtained by ABC News, agents can be seen carrying out bags of evidence from a home once owned by Warner. Shortly after 1 a.m. on Christmas morning, this RV was seen parked outside the AT&T building. Authorities are viewing this surveillance video of the blast. Police responding to a call of shots fired said they could hear that ominous recording coming from the RV.
What I remembered was downtown where the lights shine bright. It's downtown by Petulia Clark.
Officer Brenna Hosey began banging on doors, helping a mother of 4 evacuate.
She said, okay, let me get my kids. And that kind of just like put my heart up in my throat.
Officer James Wells was closest to the explosion and had been trying to reach fellow officer Amanda Topping. The force of the blast leaving Wells with temporary hearing loss.
As I turned around, for me, it felt like I only took 3 steps. And then the music stopped. And as I'm walking back toward Topping now, I just see orange. And then I hear a loud boom. And as I'm stumbling, because it rocked me that hard, I started stumbling. I just tell myself to stay on your feet, stay alive.
I just took off in a sprint towards him. I've never grabbed somebody so hard in my life.
In all, 6 officers being hailed as heroes, some overcome with emotion after telling their stories. Investigators still have not revealed a motive for the attack.
There is no indication presently that anyone else was involved in this crime. Nashville is considered safe.
Nashville's mayor has extended a curfew for the areas impacted by the blast until noon on Monday. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News in Washington.
Andrew, thank you. And now that President Trump has signed the $900 billion COVID relief bill, let's take a deeper dive now into the legislation itself. Alicia Nieves shows what is in the bill and what is not.
The motion to concur is agreed to.
The latest stimulus package passed by Congress is one of the longest bills to be pushed so quickly through the Senate and the House.
This bill is too long, too complicated.
Thea Lee is the president of the Economic Policy Institute and says the $900 billion package will provide an instant jolt to our economy, extending unemployment benefits and enhancing them by $300 a week, while also issuing a $600 stimulus check and $25 billion for housing and eviction protection. However, those benefits only take up a couple of pages in the nearly 5,600-page bill.
There are things in there that don't belong in there.
We consider this a first step.
As more experts comb through the lengthy legislation, the list of non-pandemic related funding and measures grows.
None of us think any of this legislation is perfect.
Some of it are things that are not COVID related, like horse race commissions and so on. But some of what's in there shouldn't be in the bill because it's helping either people or businesses that don't need the help.
For example, there's a tax break on alcohol, an industry that has actually thrived during the pandemic, and a tax break for what's been dubbed the 3-martini lunch.
A deduction for business people who are having expensive lunches out. That's been expanded in this bill.
For all the non-pandemic related measures squeezed into this latest deal, there is surprise in what did not make it in.
The most important thing that's not in the COVID bill that should have been in is aid to state and local governments. If they don't get more aid from the federal government, they will start laying off workers.
Also not in the bill was an extension on the student loan payment pause and no transparency requirement tied to small business PPP loans.
The Department of Justice has actually indicted 57 individuals so far with stealing over $175 million from the PPP program.
RJ Cross is with the government watchdog organization, the U.S. Public Interest Research Group, and says transparency was critical to making sure PPP loan money goes to actual small businesses in need.
Congress largely squandered that opportunity to strengthen some of those measures that would help increase public trust in the PPP program.
Well, I hope that Congress will come back in 2021 and take up the elements that are missing from this bill.
I'm Alicia Nieves reporting.
Veterinary clinics are really feeling the strain, especially at this point, being 10 months into this situation.
Long waits and curbside appointments, those are just some of the challenges that pet owners are facing when visiting the vet during the pandemic. And here at WRTV, we are working to connect you to resources that will help you as the COVID-19 pandemic continues. We spoke with the medical director of a new online platform called Vetster about how they are helping local vets and pet owners Right now, there are 8 vets located in Indiana and more than 2,100 vets and techs on the platform that you can book virtual appointments with. The medical director says with Americans spending more time at home, there has been a surge in new pet ownership, with 37% of Americans welcoming pets into their homes.
37% more pets, but we don't have 37% more doctors or facilities. We are meeting people where they are. So for those patients or those pet owners where travel to the clinic is particularly challenging, either due to the owners themselves being quarantined or being sick or having mobility issues or risk issues for general public, we meet them here on a Zoom call, essentially.
Well, Dr. Michelle, who you just heard from, says the platform provides value to both the pet owner and local clinics by allowing them to provide a service and advice to owners that aren't necessarily in urgent situations. Let's check back in with Kyle now for your forecast.
And Nicole, we are tracking some quick moving showers out there. In fact, it only added up to about 1/100th of an inch of rain officially in Indianapolis. We have had some steadier rain in northeastern communities for us tonight, but that will quickly be coming to an end. Those winds are still breezy. We're looking at wind gusts out there around 30 to even 35 miles per hour right now in the Lafayette area, 31-mile-per-hour gust in Indianapolis. And it will stay breezy here as we go through tonight. But right now, those winds are out of the southwest. That's keeping the mild air in place, with temperatures still at 50 degrees in Bloomington and Shelbyville. Close to that in Indy at 49 and middle 40s in Kokomo. But that colder air will start to race in here as we go through the overnight. Even by midnight tonight, that temperature in Lafayette will be dropping down around the freezing mark, and we'll see that colder air overspreading the area. Most of us will be starting off upper 20s to around 30 degrees for our Monday morning, and that will come with cloud cover, but we will be dry at that point. We're not going to be seeing any more wet weather here. You just notice that the clouds are really going to be lingering here. I think it might be a little difficult to kind of break those clouds apart until we get a little later into the day, the evening and tomorrow night, that we'll see a little bit of clearing. And with those clouds and a northwest breeze, we've got temperatures that aren't going to move a whole lot here as we go throughout our Monday. Just 32 degrees for you here at 11 a.m. We'll hold pretty much right there as we get into the early afternoon, and temperatures that may come up another degree or two. Although the thermometer will be reading in the 30s, the northwest wind at about 10 to 15 miles per hour, going to make it feel like the 20s throughout the day. 21 will be your wind chill at 8 a.m., so you're certainly going to need to layer up a little bit more tomorrow as opposed to what we had to do today. And we'll have those wind chills only around 24 degrees tomorrow afternoon. Looking ahead, temperatures are going to be warming up here as we get toward the middle of the week. On Wednesday, we are back in the 50s. That will come with our next chance for some rain developing across the area and a storm system that's going to linger here for a couple of days. We look at that 7-day planning forecast. There's the warm up. A little more sunshine on Tuesday with partly sunny skies. 37 the high there. 51 again with breezy conditions on Wednesday. And as we look toward New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, we will have some scattered showers around on Thursday, temporarily cooler, may mix in a few snowflakes. And then it looks like on Friday, New Year's Day, that we will have some rain. Looks like the low may track to our west, which would keep us in the warmer side of things and primarily a rain event, but that still could change here. And then a little cooler as we go into the first weekend of 2021. Those temperatures, though, are expected to bounce back here with above average temperatures in that outlook January 4th through the 10th. Brad?
The Colts have put themselves in a precarious playoff position with their loss to Pittsburgh. I'm Brad Brown. Coming up, we'll recap Sunday's disappointing loss to the Steelers and tell you how next Sunday has turned into a must-win situation for the Colts to keep their postseason hopes alive.
Possibilities at Hellmans.com.
Headline from Sunday will read that the Colts lost to the Steelers, but a deeper dig into the details shows a bigger problem for the Colts, particularly if they make the playoffs: the inability to string together a full 4 quarters in any given game. It happened again in Pittsburgh.
I'm not doubting us. I'm not doubting our coaching staff. I'm not doubting the players. I'm not doubting what we're doing and how we're doing it and who we're doing it with. We had a bad game and our bad half, and we weren't able to finish it off. So we got to learn from it.
The first half was mostly great for the Colts. Jonathan Taylor chewed up the defense on the ground, punched in a pair of touchdowns, each coming on drives that worked more than 5 minutes off the clock.
Yeah, he's been awesome. Jonathan, you can't say enough good things about him just as a person, first off, and the way he carries himself, and then just the way he plays football.
Phillip Rivers found chunk play after chunk play, big gainers to 5 different receivers in the half. A 42-yard touchdown to Zach Pascal had the Colts cruising to a 21-7 lead. The second half was a very different story. After an anemic first 40 minutes, Ben Roethlisberger threw a trio of touchdowns in just over 10 minutes. The third of those to Juju Smith-Schuster gave Pittsburgh the lead.
Striving for perfection is definitely something that we try and do, and from every aspect. And, you know, being able to put a team like that away after the first half is definitely something that we needed to do, because any spark and any life that you give them gives them the opportunity to come back and see and do what they've done.
Of course, you know, he's going to throw the ball down the field. I mean, down by 17, I mean, you know, he's going to throw the ball down the field. I don't know exactly, you know, what went wrong. You know, I got to look at the tape and see, you know, what was different between the first half, second half, you know, from players-wise and everything else, you know, see exactly, you know, what went wrong, what we could have done better.
Wholesale changes to the Colts' offensive line eventually caught up with them. Rivers had trouble finding time to throw, sacked 5 times in the game, most on any Sunday of the season. A fourth-quarter interception cost a chance to regain the lead, and a final drive under 2 minutes came up empty with a turnover on downs. Steelers clinched the AFC North with the 28-24 win.
We gave them life. We've been on the other side of those before. When you get going, when you get behind, and we let them. They were the aggressor. As it went to the 10-point game and a 3-point game, they were the aggressor. And I don't mean that from a play calling standpoint. I just meant in general it had that little bit of that feel of like, oh boy.
Sunday's loss means the Colts will face some playoff pressure in their regular season finale. Indy is in a must-win game. They'll also need a loss from either Miami, Cleveland, or Baltimore. One of those teams will likely have 11 wins and be left on the outside looking in. The Colts host the Jaguars next Sunday. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
Fall asleep, stay asleep.
Times Square is getting ready to ring in the new year. Crews started setting up stages this weekend for live performances during this year's ball drop. The live event is closed to the public because of the pandemic, but a live stream will be available online. Andra Day will headline the event and is scheduled to perform Rise Up, her Grammy Award nominated single. Other performers include Gloria Gaynor, Pitbull, Jennifer Lopez, and Machine Gun Kelly. A restaurant in Bogota, Colombia is offering a juicy 24-karat gold-topped hamburger for a whopping $60. In between the bread are double beef patties, crispy bacon, onion, double cheese, topped with 5 pieces of edible gold leaves imported from the United States. The owner of the restaurant says he was inspired by restaurants in Turkey where they served a similar burger. He hopes to bring new culinary experiences to Colombian diners who are unable to travel due to the pandemic. And Kyle, I just did a quick Google search. Apparently there's burgers like this available in Vegas.
Really?
Yeah, I've never been, but.
I would like to hold on to my gold, not digest it, though.
Wear it, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you on that.
There you go. All right, well, as we check out that forecast next 7 days, it will be a little cooler here Monday and Tuesday, but with dry conditions. Then as we get into Wednesday, warmer with rain developing, and we'll have some periods of rain. May mix in a little bit of snow or sleet there from time to time, and we bring in 2021 with a little rain on Friday.
All right, Kyle, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great night.